What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy right here, and tonight is a very special podcast. Welcome from wherever you're joining us, wherever in the world you're joining us from, and thank you for tuning in. It is It is fight night tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are live with Fight Night tonight. Amanda Nunez versus Felicia Spencer. A lot of people might not want to tune into that because they think that uh, Amanda Nunez is probably going to just blow Felicia Spencer out of the water, which is not entirely true. Now, the thing is with Fight Nights, folks, is that I love what the UFC has done with UFC 250 tonight. The main card is fantastic. Um, Kicking off with Sugar Sean O'Malley against Eddie Wyland. Sugar Sean's second fight back, since his comeback. Defeated Jose Alberto Quinones in his last fight. He looked so good. He looked like he hadn't lost a beat. He was technical. He pressured Quinones. He timed his shots. Waited for the Mexican Psycho to come to him, and then bang, lights out. And then we got another guy I've always been interested in, but I haven't seen enough of, if you know what I mean. Alonzo Manyfield. Now, Alonzo Manyfield, if you look at him, he's not the tallest, but he is the biggest. He is stacked, jacked, yeah, and about to kick some ass. Uh, he has knockout power for days. Loves to put that pressure on as well. He loves to put some pace. Yeah, he does some amazing shit, folks. He's a great athlete. Uh, when he comes in, he comes in like he uses his power and loves to get inside on his opponents. Loves to get inside on his opponents wherever possible. And especially if you look at one of his most highlight reel knockouts, folks. Um, I can't remember who the opponent was. It was he tried to clinch Alonzo up. Alonzo ended up spinning out of the situation, out of the clinch, span out and hit a left hand, what looked to be a left. I thought you can see it, but on Alonzo Many Fields on ESPN's Instagram, ESPN MMA. It's right there, folks. That was some amazing shit. It doesn't even look like Alonzo even hit the guy, but the guy went down. So something must have hit his ass, or he just fell. But apart from that, folks, I just want to say that episode 10, it's gone so fast. MMA Reloaded, Real Talk, the podcast. Of course, I want to thank all my guests, all our special guests, actually. They're not only our guests, man. They're only my guests. I'm going to be friends with a lot of them, with all of them, really. I left on good terms, man. And folks, of course, MMA Reloaded will be doing a giveaway. You have a chance to win a free MMA Reloaded T-shirt, newly produced. Yeah, folks, and ladies and gentlemen, we hope our merchandise will capture your imagination, will capture your attention, and will capture your eye. Different designs, all MMA Reloaded, all day, every day, all original, coming right to you via MMAReloaded.co.uk, MMAReloaded.com. Yeah, wherever you can see MMA Reloaded t-shirts, go grab them, folks, because they're going to be hot. And after this giveaway, only one lucky fan will win the first newly produced MMA Reloaded shirt. All right. So the questions Yeah, the question is, right? Wow, man, I'm shaking right. All right, folks. Question is this. Okay, at Ultimate Fighter 1, in the first series of the Ultimate Fighter, there were there was Josh Koscheck, Chris Lieben, Diego Sanchez, who and Kenny Florian, who all made names for themselves in the UFC. They may end up becoming UFC legends. Who can name 4 other competitors on the Ultimate Fighter Season 1? Apart from the 4 that I just mentioned, I mentioned Josh Koscheck, Chris Lieben, Kenny Florian, and Diego Sanchez. Apart from those 4, yeah, who can name 4 more? And the first man, or whoever the first fan, the first fan to get that answer correct or to respond with correct answers will win an MMA Reloaded t-shirt on the house. Folks, so I suggest y'all go get on Google, get right in them comment boxes, and always, while you're commenting, you might as well push the subscribe button too, because MMA Reloaded Real Talk is as real as it gets. We talk real, we never lie, cheat, and steal. Of course, folks, today, episode 10 is fight night. It's an important night. Of course, folks, we sit down for the second time here. He was eager to get back on the show. And I'm always glad to have one of the fastest rising, one of the best flyweights in the world on my show, always. Yeah, it's not only my show, it's the people's show. I'm the people's champ. So, do the math. One of the fastest rising flyweights and one of the best flyweights in the world. Making his name at Legacy, feuding and some of his most memorable. Of course, he's waiting for his to finish his unfinished business with one Brandon Royval, who we saw make his UFC debut, successfully defeating flyweight veteran Tim Elliott. Now, folks, it's Jerome Renegade Rivera. Now, Jerome is set to face Brandon on this season of the Contender Series. So, folks, I am looking forward to that, as you should be too, because these two guys, it's not only just a contract for them, it's a grudge. And, folks, we also hope to have Brandon Royval on the podcast soon. And of course, folks, I can't wait for that shit, because it's going to be yin and yang. Get Jerome's points, get Brandon's point of view as well. And folks, obviously, I would like to thank Anthony Angikwani for appearing on our last episode. I'd like to thank all the other guys. I would like to also give a huge shout out to Gifted Gabriel Green, my other boy, my other homie, who made his UFC debut. Or even though on short notice, he still did it, man. Gabe, I knew you could do it, my brother. Congratulations. Folks, of course, it's UFC Fight Night. And also, folks, if you haven't been keeping up with the announcements lately, Jesus Christ, you don't know what you're missing. Alexander Gustafsson is coming out of retirement to meet Fabricio Verdun at heavyweight. Holy shit. Like, when I first saw that, I saw that last night, yeah? And I was like, okay. Is it true or not? Then everyone started posting it on Facebook. I was like, shit. Then folks, it was like, And then, you know what? Alexander Gustafsson. Sorry, folks. That was the Renegade, by the way. That was the Renegade. That was the Renegade, man. Renegade just always wants to know what's up. You know what I'm saying? So let's invite Jerome Renegade Rivera. We can talk with him, man. Oh, man. Love Renegade. Always. You know, folks, and like I was saying, yeah, Alexander Gustafsson, it's such a huge fight for him to come back out from. Fabricio Verdum got beaten dominantly by Alexei Oleinik at UFC 249. So I'm sort of I'm eager and I'm interested to see how that's going to go down. If Gustafsson or if one of them drops out, then Ovin St. Preux has been slated to come back at them, to come and replace one of them if one of them cannot compete. And I'm looking forward to that. I think Ovin St. Preux was unlucky against Ben Rothwell. He should have won that damn fight. But who the fuck knows? Also tonight, folks, we got Chase Hooper's back against Alex Caceres. But I'm always like to see a guy like Chase Hooper, a kid like Chase Hooper, actually make his name. And you know he knows how important it is for him, man. He's undefeated, won no contest, 9-0. This kid in his UFC debut impressed the hell out of me. He showed grit. He showed talent. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game is amazing. It is amazing for such a young man, 19 years old, to have that skill. Technically, it's bro, it's out of this world, man. You know what I mean? It's out of this fucking world, bro. And of course, Alex Caceres, man. We all know Bruce Leroy. I think Bruce Leroy has. I think Caceres has. I don't know how to really say this, man. Caceres has sort of been lost in the pile of bantamweights. The more stacked the bantamweights have been brought up, and the more all stars that have been added to the rankings, guys like Alex Caceres and Jimmy Rivera have been just left in sort of like a pile to sort of fight up again, you know? And I think what Alex Caceres needs is a fight where he can show what Bruce Leroy can do. And Caceres' jiu-jitsu game is sick. It is sick. His long limbs, but also Chase Hooper's just as tall as he is. But Caceres uses his long limbs to triangle choke you. He's great on top, in top mount. But also Chase Hooper's good in top mount. It's going to be so interesting to see this. Caceres is a veteran. Still so young, but he's a veteran. Chase Hooper, 9-0. Well, 9-0 with 1 no contest. So he's coming into his 11th pro fight. Caceres has had 27 pro fights. So this is it's going to be a huge fight for Chase Hooper to actually show that he can do business against high-level competition. Also Amanda Nunez and Felicia Spencer. Felicia Spencer was 7-0 after her UFC debut against Megan Anderson. She submitted Megan. She's had she's had so many rear naked choke victories. It's unbelievable, man. So I think if she gets Amanda Nunez on the ground, she could do it. She's tough as hell. Who else could take Cyborg to decision? She lost, but she took Cyborg to a damn decision. She looked great in her last fight against Farah dos Santos. but it was a huge fight for Felicia. This is going to be her biggest fight of her career. It's going to be her biggest fight of her career. Not just for Amanda. I think she's winding it down now. Of course, she wants to start a family with Nina Ansaroff. Congratulations to them. So I think she's going to wind it down. I think what we're going to see here is, with Amanda Nunez, early in her UFC career, she showed great technique. Boxing was as crisp as it is today. And she uses those long arms. Her arms are so long. They're deceptively long. But when she pushes the pace, yeah, her combinations, so she leads like this, yeah, it's all like that. Or she goes straight, yeah. When she goes straight, full extension. Yeah, she's full extending it all the time, but she keeps her arm tight. Yeah, folks, that's your main thing with Amanda Nunes. But she has to make sure she doesn't get careless, so Felicia Spencer doesn't take her down. Amanda Nunes has got caught, but she's unstoppable, man. This girl is unfucking stoppable. It is going to be amazing to see, folks, how Amanda Nunes actually comes in and comes into this one, and how Felicia Spencer comes into this. Also, Cody Garbrandt and Rafael Assunção, and Aljamain Sterling and Corey Sandhagen. I want to talk about those two fights in one. The bantamweight division has become it's such a murderer's row. It's full of talent, gifted veterans, rising stars, legit contenders, and OG UFC bantamweights. So, folks, you have, in my opinion, you have 6 main characters here, right? Number 6, number 6, Marlon Moraes. 5, you have, 5, you have Rafael Assunção, Aljamain Sterling. You have Corey Sandhagen, Jose Aldo, yeah, and Dominic Cruz. Now, folks, tonight you're gonna see Aljo versus Corey Sandhagen. This fight is gonna be so interesting to see. It's gonna be so interesting to watch how Aljamain Sterling approaches this. How both men approach it. They're in positions where you can practically touch that vacant bantamweight championship belt. But who the fuck is actually gonna get that shot? Is actually gonna get that belt? What two fighters are gonna go straight to the end of the rainbow and become the two men to fight out for the UFC bantamweight championship? Jose Aldo versus Petr Yan has practically been slated. So it's those two men are going to fight it out. Petr Yan deserves it. Jose Aldo, yeah, he had a controversial loss against Marlon Moraes. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. But you cannot really jump the gun. When you have a bantamweight division like the UFC's, you cannot jump the gun with your contenders. You cannot just bring in one of the greatest fighters of all time into the bantamweight division and say, all right, see, he's going to get a straight bantamweight championship shot. He earns it. He earned it. He's paid his dues. He's earned it. But he hasn't earned it to a degree over Aljo, over Rafael Assunção, who's waited I would say like 10 years to get his bantamweight championship shot. He hasn't earned it. He's probably earned it over Corey Sandhagen. He hasn't earned it over Dominic Cruz. He needs to fight Dominic Cruz. I think Aldo versus Cruz would be a damn dream fight for any OG UFC fan. I think this fight, folks, is going to be so important to see if Jose Aldo is still has what it takes to be championship material, or if Petr Yan will push the legend aside, take him out and take the belt. So this one is, folks, I mean, tonight has so many complications. Cody Garbrandt wants another shot at the UFC Bantamweight Championship. He's going to have to go through Rafael Assunção to get it. You know what I mean? So when Rafael Assunção comes into this, he looks at underrated, been underrated for a while, been in definitely Bantamweight's top 3 for the past 10 years. No doubt about that. He's a damn beast. And I think people don't understand how good Rafael Assunção really is. He's beaten the best. And I think he'll continue to be the best. Folks, it's one of them things, man. You can't really put your finger on it, but tonight has so many implications. Folks, Jerome Rivera is waiting, and so are we. Yo, Jerome, what's going on, brother? Yeah, there you go. Jerome, what's going on, my bro?
What's up, bro? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Just excited to watch some fights tonight and enjoy a good day of some rest.
Yeah, man. You see, that's what I was trying to say during my introduction, was that tonight's not only episode 10 of Real Talk, but it's fight night tonight, bro. And I was just giving a little introduction of the main event tonight. Amanda Nunez and Felicia Spencer tonight. And bro, like, just to kick that off, people think that it's going to be a blowout tonight, Jerome. But do you think, bro? I want to get your opinion, man. Do you think it's going to be a blowout tonight, bro, or do you think Felicia could pull out one?
I don't know. I don't know, bro. I'm kind of a jiu-jitsu guy, so I'm a little biased, I guess. But I definitely don't think Amanda Nunez is just going to blow right through her, because when when you have the grappling skills of a black belt, someone like Felicia Spencer, you can never underestimate that. I mean, if they get into some grappling exchanges, you never know what could happen. And I mean, we've seen Amanda Nunez on paper is probably a lot better of a striker than Felicia Spencer, but there's been a lot of cases where someone was supposed to be a better striker and then turned out they got caught with a lucky shot or whatever it might be. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, bro, that's what I was just saying that at the top of the show, that if Felicia takes her down, yeah, because Amanda tends to get careless with the combinations sometimes. Yeah. So if Felicia can take her down, changing levels, we could be looking at a 5-rounder here, bro, possibly.
Yeah, seriously.
And also,
those
a couple of, what's that, bro?
Those leg kicks she throws, I mean, those are, if she throws those a lot tonight, those are like bait for Felicia to take her down. So we'll see what happens.
You know what, Jerome, and a couple of more fights I want to get your opinion on. Yeah, bro, because tonight is stacked, bro. I mean, like, people don't understand how stacked it really is. Tonight, bro, we have Chase Hooper versus Alex Caceres. Yeah, well, and there's so much hype around Chase Hooper, bro. And I have to say he made an impression on me in his UFC debut. He showed great toughness, yeah, and his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game is off the charts, bro. How do you think that this is his, in my opinion, his first real test against a true veteran of a bantamweight division like Alex Caceres? Do you think this one's gonna be Chase Hooper's learning curve, or do you think he's gonna take Caceres tonight?
I don't know. That's gonna be a pretty interesting fight. I think, like you said, his grappling skills are really good. I haven't gotten to see a whole lot of Chase Hooper. I've seen some highlights though, and he definitely seems like he has some great skill. But yeah, I think you kind of called it right there. I think this might be that learning curve where he's going against a really tough vet like Caceres. And I mean, I'm sure Caceres is no stranger to the ground. He has a bunch of killers in his camp that are really good at jiu-jitsu. So I don't know. I kind of think I like the Chase Hooper kid, but I kind of think Caceres might take that one.
And of course, Jerome, tonight might be UFC 250, but we're just coming off the heels of Tyron Woodley and Gilbert Burns, bro. And I remember we were speaking about this on Instagram, yeah, bro. And of course, man, I don't know how to really put this, man. It's like, how do you see the state of the welterweight division after that fight?
Gilbert Burns was impressive. I think he got put at number 1 after that. I think he deserves that spot for sure. And I don't know. It's interesting to see with Masvidal battling Dana White right now. It kind of seems like he's not going to be really in favor of the UFC picking him for a title shot the way it's looking like. So I don't know. I would totally like to see the Usman versus Burns fight, but I mean that welterweight division is stacked.
Even without Jorge Masvidal, bro, it's still stacked. But I just want to touch on that for a moment too, because like Jorge was tweeting a lot last night, yeah, and basically asked for his release from the UFC, yeah, and then he got called out by Dylan Dennis, who he's a douche in my opinion, but bro, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, bro. In my opinion, it's just I think he's just taking the piss because of how John Jones did it and how Conor McGregor does it. I think Jorge Masvidal isn't the type of guy to just ask for his release just like that.
Yeah, kind of like I want to say I feel like it's a bluff, but I mean you never know if they push him too hard what's gonna happen. But I honestly think that I like kind of what he's doing because I think that fighter pay for mixed martial artists isn't going to change unless a lot of fighters take a strike like that. Like a lot of people need to say like, hey, you know, I'm not going to fight unless I'm getting paid X amount of money, because it is kind of ridiculous the amount of money that they generate and compared to what they pay the UFC fighters. I mean, there's boxers that don't even have that big of a name and they're going to making like 10 million in a fight or whatever, 5 million, even $1 million for a boxer. That's a lot of money compared to UFC fight to some UFC fighters that work their ass off that deserve close to that same pay. So I think it's kind of cool that they're, yeah.
I see that too. Yeah, Jerome, but you can look at it the other side as well. Yeah, and I'm speaking as an analyst, bro. Yeah, and you can sort of look at it as you're fighting for the biggest promotion in mixed martial arts. And the thing is you don't know how grateful you actually are. Yeah. I mean, the UFC is, bro, in MMA, yeah, it is so hard for promoters to make all their fighters happy. Yeah, I'm sure in Legacy there were times when you got a bit pissed off. Yeah, bro, and you thought, yeah, shit. I mean, I just beat the shit out of this guy, and you're paying me this. Yeah, like, bro, your last fight of the triangle choke win. You could have got that bonus for that, bro. But
yeah,
you never know, man. I mean, I get what you're saying because you speak as a fighter, yeah, and you're doing it and you're doing it right now. But you can sort of look at it like both ways. It's a situation I'm looking forward to seeing, man, how it pans out.
Well, and I mean, like for me in my position, like I think all professional athletes kind of get overpaid. Like getting paid $50 million for a fight when Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather, like that's just like ridiculous. You don't need $50 million. Like, I mean, if I got like $100,000 in a fight, I'd be like, holy shit, I'm set for life. Like, you know. So I mean, I'm definitely not complaining. I think the UFC gets paid fine. I think in comparison to other sports, they're underpaid. But yeah, I mean that's apples and oranges, I guess, comparing in because other sports have seasons. Yeah. They're competing a lot more often, I guess, even though they don't go through the same kind of physical wear that we do. They have to put up with a lot of media stuff and traveling constantly. So I mean, yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I get that, man. I get that totally. Like, you can look at it from that way, bro. Like, they bust their ass, man. And I'm not saying they don't. They bust their ass, and that's just to become the best. If you're not in the sport to become the best, there, get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And bro, when we talk about the best, yeah, I'm chatting with one of the best flyweights in the world right now, man. And bro, I want to touch on this, yeah. And we've been talking about this ever since the first show. Mr. Brandon Royval, yeah, bro, and he made his UFC debut, yeah, bro, and this was a fight that you were targeting, that got cancelled in Legacy, your rematch, and then now it's targeted for the Contender Series, and I was just saying to the fans that this isn't just a UFC contract fight for these two guys. This is a fight where it's unfinished business right here, man. Uh, and you know, of course, you expressed how you weren't that happy with him making a UFC debut like that. But how did you feel when you actually saw that news that Brandon's gonna make his UFC debut?
I think I got a first reaction, just like naturally, I was a little bit kind of like salty, just because I wanted to fight him. You know, like that fight's I've already almost had it 2 times since we fought the first time, and that's like a really motivating matchup for me. So yeah, I was like initially kind of like pissed off, kind of salty, like a bunch of different emotions, but I think once the dust kind of settled a little bit, I just kind of realized like, you know, I'm still fighting on the Contender Series. So what am I to be mad about? Like, I can't go and complain that I'm going to be fighting in front of Dana White, possibly get a UFC contract. So, you know, I kind of took a breath and realized like, just be thankful for where I'm at. And if I'm meant to fight Brandon one day, then it'll happen. And if it takes place in the UFC and a lot of people get to see it and it builds up, and maybe that'll be even a little bit cooler. But yeah, you know, yeah.
I mean, bro. I mean, I totally understand how you feel, man. I'm sorry if I put you in an awkward position, bro. But it's interesting to see, man, because you guys are the center of you guys were the center of the flyweight division at Legacy for a long time. And of course, bro, you're fighting amongst the best at Legacy at flyweight, and to be the center of attention like that with you two guys, it's something to talk about, bro. When we talk about the flyweight division, right now, bro, you're number one in New Mexico, yeah, bro. And of course, to be ranked number one in any state is an achievement, yeah, bro. So respect to that. And when we talk about the flyweight division, bro, a new flyweight champion is going to be crowned. Joseph Benavidez beats Davison Figueiredo. How do you in their first meeting, bro? Davison ran through Joby one like nothing I've ever seen. How do you see this one going when these two guys meet again?
I don't know. I'm excited to see that rematch. I'm glad that Joseph Benavidez got a second chance at him, because I think Benavidez wasn't quite opening up yet, and I think when he did kind of start doing good was like right when it ended. But I'm curious to see. I hope Joseph Benavidez could make those adjustments, because I'm a big fan of his. I've liked watching him for a long time, so I would like to see him get that belt. I think he deserves it. But Figueiredo, man, that dude's a killer. That dude has those body shots, those leg kicks, the jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's hard to go against that guy. So that's going to be a fun fight to watch. I think if Benavidez can weather that storm, those first 2 rounds, make it to that third, I think he can change the tide and win that fight.
I think when you look at the flyweights, bro, we look at tonight, and Jussier Formiga is fighting Alex Perez. Yeah, bro, and Alex Perez, bro, he can pull out some surprising shit sometimes. Because bro, I think he's a good talent, but he's only ranked number 9 right now. Juicy is coming in here. He's ranked number 4. Uh, 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 do you think that Juicy Formiga should have had his flyweight championship shot earlier, or do you think it should have been, yeah, that's it really? Do you think he should have had the flyweight title shot earlier, Jerome?
I think that Ray Borg fight was like a really pivotal moment for Juicy Air, because I think he was kind of like going on a roll where he was like about to fight for the belt again, and then he fought Ray Borg and he kind of lost that momentum a little bit. And then as he was kind of trying to take fights to get back to the top, I think there was already just other guys fighting like Cejudo and Dillashaw, like people that were a little bit more exciting fights that would sell a little more in the flyweight division. But yeah, this is going to be a fun fight. I think Formiga beat Figueiredo, right?
He did. Yeah, what? Yeah, he beat Figueiredo.
That was a big win for him. I've trained with Formiga in Albuquerque a few times, and he's really good at. I think it's going to be an exciting fight, I think. And then my teammate Jordan Espinosa, he fought Alex Perez his last fight, and that, like you said, that guy's a tough talent. He has good wrestling, surprises people with his hands. Pretty tough guy. So yeah, that's going to be. I think tonight could possibly be like. Could show a #1 contender, or at least a guy that's going to be the #1 contender winner of that fight.
Bro, you never mentioned Jordan Espinosa as one of your training partners, bro. Dang.
Oh yeah, that's a great friend.
So tell me something, Renegade. How do you see the state of that UFC flyweight division as it stands right now, bro? You got a championship vacant. Yeah, hanging fucking 20 feet, yeah, above everyone else, yeah, and you got one guy that's there to take that strap home. How do you look at that flyweight division, bro, as we go down?
I think that division's like wide open right now. Like they're just waiting for stars to just come and like thrive in that division. Because I mean, right now, I think when Cejudo was the champion, like that was an intimidating force right there at the top. Like I picture myself fighting Cejudo, and that dude's like a little bull. He's a big 25er, so I mean that's a really tough matchup. And right now, I don't think there's a guy that's really like at the top that seems unbeatable for anybody. Like I think if Joseph Benavidez, yeah, you can take that. You can take it. Okay. Yeah, I think if Joseph Benavidez gets the belt, I think he's beatable, and I think if Figueiredo gets the belt, I think he's beatable too. And all the contenders in that division, I mean, from 1 to 15, I think if any of those guys get some impressive finishes, they could be knocking on the door for a title shot. Maybe two exciting finishes in a row. You never know. So,
damn right. Yeah, damn right, bro. That division, bro, I love it so much because there were times when Jordan Espinosa could have been the top guy, but then he ran into Matt Schnell after the Matt Schnell fight. There's Matt Schnell who came in with a reputation, and people think he could have been the top guy. Ray Borg now is right up there with being a favorite to be the top guy. But, you know, that's what I'm saying, Jerome, is that I think whoever wins between Joseph Benavidez and Davison Figueiredo is going to be, they're going to deserve it, bro. They deserve it.
yeah.
And of course, as we move on, yeah, bro, and it's nuts right now, man, because last year and the last time you fought was in January, yeah, bro, of this year, and in my opinion, it was a beautiful performance, bro, because I went back and I watched that fight back, and you had 2 cancelled fights, yeah, which included a rematch with Brandon, and you had. And then you went in against Kendrick Latchman at Legacy 80. You come into this one, you had the size advantage in that fight. But he was holding you. He was holding you on the fence for a lot in that fight. And then, of course, you were reversing position. He was reversing you. What was in that fight, bro? How did you sort of feel coming in? Because obviously it was your comeback after 2 cancelled fights. You were injured. You come back. How did you feel coming into that fight?
That was a really fun fight. It felt good to go and fight in front of all my friends and family in Albuquerque, and I was just trying to embrace that moment and still go out there and like stick to my game plan. Yeah, I felt good in that fight. I feel like I got to show a little bit more of my striking than in some of the other fights, but I still like watching it over. I'm like, damn it, I could have done so much better. But yeah, it was a fun fight for me. When I was watching video on Kendrick Latchman, I thought he was going to be like almost the same height as me. And then once we kind of like got closer to each other, I noticed like that's when I realized like, dang, I'm actually a pretty tall flyweight for this division, because he looked long when I was studying him. And then when I saw the picture of us at weigh-ins, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of a lot longer than this dude. And then, yeah, I saw he had like 11 boxing matches. I don't know what his record was. I think it was like 2-9 or something like that. So it wasn't anything crazy, but I knew he had a boxing background. So I was kind of looking to go out there and use my hands a little bit and be cautious about setting up those takedowns. But yeah, it was a fun fight. It was cool fighting in Albuquerque for LFA.
Of course, bro, and of course, fighting at home. That's what you want to fight, bro, because that's where you have the most confidence. Fighting in front of your friends and family, you think, yeah, holy shit, my fucking family's in the crowd. I need to put on a performance right now. But of course, in that fight, bro, because talk to me how you were feeling leading up to the finish. Because as soon as you broke off the cage, you countered him with some really good knees to the face. He was holding you in a single collar, and you went and countered him with 2-3 good knees to his face, bro. You used your reach and your height so well in that fight. But talk to me how you were feeling leading up to that finish, Renegade.
I could feel that I was hitting him with some hard shots. Like a couple of those lefts that I hit him with, I felt like I connected pretty well, and I could kind of feel him like wilting a little bit. So yeah, I threw that head kick. And one thing I've been doing, I was talking to my coaches and I was practicing. I think I practiced throwing my kicks too high sometimes. Like if you watch that fight, I threw a couple kicks over his head. And yeah, triangle's my bread and butter, bro. Once I rocked him with a couple of those shots and he kind of let me rest that leg on his shoulder, I was going for that triangle. So
this is so we're seeing sort of a similar thing tonight with Caceres and Chase Hooper, bro, because they're pretty much the same height as you, and I think both of them have great Brazilian jiu-jitsu background. Do you, as a fighter, bro, and of course having a similar style to these two guys, who do you think would have the advantage on the ground? Because I know it's gonna go there, bro, and obviously both guys have great triangle chokes. Who do you think is gonna have that advantage, bro, with the reach added?
that's going to be a hard one. I think when you get two guys that are both lengthy and they're used to being the lengthier fighter, it can make for like a really crazy fight. Like with me and Brandon, I think me and him kind of made for like an exciting, chaotic fight because we're both lengthy, both do some flashy stuff on the feet, both have a good jiu-jitsu game. But yeah, I mean, I think they might nullify each other on the ground a little bit. I don't know. I think one thing that Chase Hooper might have in his advantage is Caceres has been doing MMA the last who knows how many years, getting ready for MMA fights. So he's been doing MMA training constantly, and I'm sure he has his jiu-jitsu days and stuff like that. But Chase Hooper is probably a little bit more fresh off of just his pure jiu-jitsu days of doing a lot of jiu-jitsu just consistently. So I think if somebody does have an advantage in the jiu-jitsu, I think it's going to be Chase.
Oh man, yeah, bro. I mean, talking from experience, man, right there. I mean, when we talk jiu-jitsu, Renegade, it's such a great base to have, bro, in MMA because, of course, you need that wrestling to combine with your jiu-jitsu, to get that leverage, extra leverage, and of course, with your jiu-jitsu, you need them transitions. You need the speed to be able to transition with. So how coming off of jiu-jitsu base, how important was it for you to transition into your striking, bro?
It's just like so important to be well rounded, because I just see like a lot of guys that I train with, or not that even that I train with, but just a lot of guys that I watch in general, like they just get caught up on one art. Like they'll do a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but just a whole lot of striking. And there's like a lot of people that if you're a really good striker but you can't hit those jiu-jitsu scrambles and you hit the mat, I mean, they're just so crucial. And even like having a really well-rounded jiu-jitsu game, like you can't just be good at jiu-jitsu off of your back, because then you go do MMA and I mean, you're just going to get ground and pounded. It's hard to get jiu-jitsu off an MMA off your back. So you got to have a good top game jiu-jitsu, good bottom game jiu-jitsu, good setups. You can, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys don't have the best wrestling. So, I mean, you got to drive to get that wrestling in and make sure you can take down as well as defend takedowns. And yeah, jiu-jitsu is super crucial, and being well-rounded is super crucial, especially nowadays. All these guys can do it all. So.
I mean, when we talk jiu-jitsu, bro, you have to have a good striking game to sort of set that jiu-jitsu up, because everywhere it starts on the feet, bro.
Yeah.
So do you think Muay Thai, or is it more karate or Taekwondo style that matches up well if you have a good jiu-jitsu base?
I think like one good thing is it's good to have really good boxing, because like your hands are kind of like your first line of defense, besides your feet using footwork to get yourself out of the way. But I mean, next is going to be your hands. And if you can use those jabs to set up some takedowns and use those hands to close the distance and keep people away from you, I think that's really crucial. It's kind of hard to set up takedowns and stuff off of your kicks. So I think boxing supplements jiu-jitsu really well. Usually, like when I train my clients and stuff, or people that want to get into MMA, I start off teaching them how to throw punches, kind of get them used to moving around. Then I'll start teaching them how to throw some kicks and stuff like that. And so I think boxing, then kickboxing, Muay Thai, it's all important.
The reason why I say Muay Thai is because when you're in the clinch, yeah, it gives you more of an advantage to set up your takedowns, because you can change the levels quite quickly. It depends on how fast you are, of course, but when you're in the clinch, bro, yeah, there's so many positions where you can sort of set up a single leg or a double and change that level. But yeah, bro, I mean, boxing, man, it's one of the most important striking bases, man. Where you start incorporating those feet. You gotta have good hands, bro, and I think when we look at you, bro, as a grappler, maybe, do you think that how hard do you work on trying to improve your boxing, bro, and trying to put everything together?
Nowadays, like as I've gotten a little bit deeper into my journey of martial arts, I realize like how crucial it is to just kind of have a plan with everything you do, like, and just to kind of do everything technically sound and not rush through things or go through the motions. Like, I think when I first started training, I was training with some really high level guys. So to keep up with them, I was constantly just pushing a really fast pace and almost getting in a fight like every single time I would spar. And I wasn't learning a whole lot. I was just getting really good at fighting. And then I was also at a kickboxing gym. So I was learning like a lot of really good kicks. And about 2 or 3 years into my mixed martial arts career, I was like, I had really good kicks, but then like I started personal training people and stuff, and I started kind of realizing I didn't have very good boxing, and I was going and working with different coaches, and like a lot of people would kind of call me out on my boxing. So that's when I kind of realized like how important my boxing was. Is something I kind of neglected for a couple of years. So yeah, I think learning that striking is super important. For sure.
That's why I love watching promotions like Glory Kickboxing or One FC. Yeah, bro. It's because you actually see how good striking can be, man. I mean, it's not all people just think striking is what Francis Ngannou did to Jairzinho. Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, striking is so technical. Yeah, it's like the base of what martial arts is all about. Yeah, but I think as a lengthy fighter, yeah, we see some lengthy guys not use their striking to full potential. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I think how important is it? Like, because against Kendrick Latchman, yeah, bro, it was a significant height advantage for you. Yeah, how important do you think it was for you to use that reach uh, and to use your striking in that fight?
Super important. Like anytime I can, I want to utilize that reach as much as I can, keep them back with my jabs. And like you said, it's like a really delicate process of learning that striking. You know, you gotta have the good boxing, that way you can keep people back and use your range. You gotta have the good leg kicks, you gotta have the good clinch, and just training to acquire those skills is a delicate process. Like you got to make sure you're getting your boxing days in, but you're not favoring boxing too much. You're still training your leg kicks, and make sure you're getting your live drilling in and little bits of sparring, but not too much sparring. I mean, it's a delicate process, and you're going to go through a lot of reinventing phases and stuff like that. But against Latchman, it was very crucial to use that boxing and keep him back. And against pretty much everybody I fight, I want to use my boxing to keep him back, use my length as much as I can. So
Yeah,
got to be
yeah. But I mean,
well-rounded.
it's so important. Yeah, but using your mind is a lot more important than using these, bro. Of course, moving on, I we talk now about one of the most important aspects of mixed martial arts, in my opinion, bro, and that's weight cutting. Of course, it's been one of my best topics to talk about over the course of the show, bro. Is because um, a lot of guys have their own different points of view, uh, and we start this off, bro. What weight does Jerome Renegade Rivera walk at?
I try not to get too heavy because I've had some traumatizing weight cuts in the past, but
Oh, yeah.
nowadays I walk about a solid like 145.
Okay, 145. Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. So not that much, then, bro. You have to just cut about 20 pounds, and
Yeah.
you're in. Yeah.
Yeah. 20
I mean,
pounds.
even cutting 20 pounds, bro. If you leave it to the last minute, it could become traumatizing. But if you sort of time this shit and sort of have stages and a schedule where you can cut that 20 or 30 or even on the Ultimate Fighter, yeah, bro. I saw a lot of traumatizing weight cuts. Yeah, I mean, if they could produce a highlight reel of Ultimate Fighter weight cuts, yeah, they could do that. I mean, Jerome, uh, we've seen fighters also pass away from weight cuts in the past. Yeah, bro, and in my opinion, bro, it's sad to talk about because they're like the young kids normally, bro. They're like 21, 22 years old. Uh, in my opinion, bro, in your opinion, as a fighter, and it's a question I've asked a lot and I've been asked a lot as well, is how do you think it comes to that stage where a fighter actually passes away from weight cut?
Um, I think a big thing is a lot of people overestimate how much weight they can cut there at the end. And yeah, I mean, some people are just so strong-minded where they don't want to quit and they'll do anything to get in there. And I mean, yeah, it's sad to see when just some people aren't completely maybe educated on the topic of cutting weight. I mean, it's something that's like you said, it's like a very crucial process to the fight. Your weight cut could affect the result of the fight. If you have a really good weight cut and everything goes good, you go perform to the best of your abilities. You have a great fight, but you can also like hurt your body and make yourself tired. And like you said, there's some young fighters that have passed away from it. And yeah, it's very sad to see. And it's just people that are just willing to push it to the end, make it to that fight. And I think a lot of the times when people miss weight, though, it's just them overestimating how much weight they can cut there at the end.
Oh man, for sure, bro. And when it comes to having a good routine for weight cutting, what's your routine, bro, when you have to cut 20?
I usually like to clean up my diet pretty well, like about 8 weeks out, and usually I'll start walking around a few pounds lighter, like 42, 40.
Okay.
And then I just try and keep like a super clean diet. I'll eat healthy all throughout camp, and if I can diet down all the way to 135, I'll diet down to 135. I've even dieted down to 125 before, where I've had to not get in the sauna at all. So I've done a lot of different weight cutting methods. I've done times where I was able to just diet down all the way to 125. I've had times where I diet down to 135 and then I lose 10, or I've had times where I lose 15. So I've kind of played around with a lot of different methods. But yeah, nowadays I just try and eat as healthy as I can, and usually like 2 weeks out from the fight, kind of watch the carbs that I'm eating, and that'll usually get me down to about 135. And then from there, I'm golden. Just go and work out a little bit, sweat, hit the sauna a little bit, and 125.
Because you've never been like big. You've always stayed lean. Yeah, and I think that's how you can tell you're doing it right. You know what I mean? And then you have the sauna, you have the plastics, you have the salt bath. Yeah, bro. I mean, those are methods which take so much out of you, bro. Even fighters have been asked to wear the suit, the sauna suit, ride the bike in the sauna. Yeah, bro. While you cut weight. I mean, that shit has got to be some of the most traumatizing shit I've ever seen happen, bro. In mixed martial arts, I saw it straight. If fans don't know how important weight cutting is, just watch the Ultimate Fighter every season. Yeah, there's one guy that always has trouble. Yeah, bro. And bro, let me just I want to just touch on that. Yeah, bro, because and just wrapping up the weight cutting topic is of course mental health. Yeah, bro, you got to be mentally strong to cut weight, and you got to know when enough is enough, or you got to know, okay, cool, I got 2 weeks till fight, I got 3 pounds left, or I got 10 pounds left, I can do it. Yeah, how important, Jerome, is it for a fighter to stay mentally healthy and mentally strong if they know they got like 20 pounds left and 1 week to cut it?
I think that's very important. I think when fighters know that they have to cut the weight, like just they want to self-sabotage themselves. They're like, oh, maybe they get a couple pounds ahead of their goal, and they're like, okay, now I can go and eat this, or I can go and eat that. I'll cheat a little bit. I'll eat some bread here. I'll eat this there. And it's just self-sabotage. It's just yourself mentally wanting to break a little bit, and you just kind of got to remind yourself of that goal ahead and say, I'll eat this in a couple weeks. It's really not that good. And try and pacify yourself with a sweet piece of fruit or something. I mean, come up with a healthy little treat. I mean, you can make healthy snacks too that'll satisfy like that little sweet tooth craving that you get here and there. It just takes a little more time, but there's some stuff out there.
Oh man, you get caught, man. You get caught with the churros, you get caught with the burritos, the cheeseburgers.
Right.
But moving on from that, Jerome. Of course, we revived the topic because we were talking about this early on. Is of course tonight, bro, is fight night, and I want to talk about the bantamweight. Yeah, bro, it's a huge topic right now, bro. One of the hottest in mixed martial arts. Yeah, of course, triple douche, vacating the belt. Yeah, bro, and you kind of see that, in my opinion, bro, the 6 guys, yeah, who are right up there for the shot. Yeah, Corey Sandhagen, Rafael Santos, yeah, Jose Aldo, Petr Yan, Aljamain Sterling, yeah, bro, and you got, and also, bro, you got Dominic Cruz, yeah. So you got those 6 guys, yeah, yeah, Jerome, and Dana White made that announcement that Petr Yan and Jose Aldo were going to fight for the bantamweight championship belt. Now, with 4 of the main guys in that picture, Cody, Rafael, Aljamain, and Corey coming in to fight tonight, bro, you best believe they're coming in pissed off, bro. They're not coming in happy. Yeah, how do you feel when if you're the top bantamweight contender, bro, and you feel that okay, cool, it's vacated now, yeah, it's my shot, yeah. How do you feel when somebody else goes and takes that shot? Even someone like Jose Aldo, who, all right, cool, he's the greatest fighter, one of the greats, but he comes to bantamweight and takes your chance.
Yeah, those dudes are gonna be fighting to make a statement tonight for sure. Those are gonna be some crazy fights. Yeah, I mean that whole division is so stacked right now. Like all those moves are so pivotal, and I mean I'm sure all those guys are kind of salty that they didn't get picked for the belt, but it's probably just more motivation for okay, tonight I'm gonna come and take this dude's head off. And I mean that Sandhagen and Aljamain Sterling fight, man, that's gonna be a crazy one.
Yeah.
And then two, I mean Garbrandt and the Sunsa, I've been wanting to see that one. I think Garbrandt has such fast hands. I think if he can stick to his game plan, hold composure, and as long as that chin holds up, I think he can take a Sunsao. But he's maybe dropping a flyweight after, so we'll see what happens with that. But I mean,
He did
yeah.
say that, sorry, Jerome. He did say that he was going to stay at bantamweight if he wins tonight against the Sunsao.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and sorry, bro, to interrupt you, but Sunsao is 38 years old, bro. Yeah, and he's, in my opinion, he's been looked over for a bantamweight championship shot for the past, I would say, for the past good part of 10 years, bro. Yeah. How do you, of course, bro? How do you feel when you're Rafael Santos? Yeah, and this, how if you're Rafael Santos, how are you feeling coming into this one?
Yeah, that Rafael Sansa, I feel like that guy's been like the silent killer of the bantamweight division for a long time. Like he was on this streak where he was just dominating guys and nobody was really talking. He didn't really finish anybody in like devastating fashion. So I think that's why he never really got that title shot or anything like that. But I think he may come in super motivated. I mean, he's still probably being overlooked. A lot of people are still probably picking Garbrandt. I mean, maybe he wants to kind of get that last hurrah at the end of his career. Because I mean, like you said, nobody comes in this to be number 2. So I mean, he's coming to be the best. He wants to come and take Garbrandt's head off. So I mean, I'm curious to see how his body's looking nowadays. If he still looks fresh, or if he's starting to kind of show some of the wear from his career. But yeah, I mean, Sunsao is always a tough dude. That guy's always going to be a tough fight for anybody.
I mean, bro, it's like watching a serial drama on TV, bro. Literally watching that bantamweight division. Yeah,
right.
It's like watching the Love and the Restless, bro. It's nuts. Yeah, because you got guys that deserve it. Yeah, and they want to touch that brass ring, but oh shit, some other dickhead comes down and now he wants to get in the picture. Yeah, but I mean, if you're Jose Aldo, yeah, and you think that your position's already slated, yeah, bro, for a bantamweight championship shot, yeah, how are you feeling coming into this? Yeah, because you've only had 2 fights, one fight at bantamweight, yeah, and that was a controversial loss against Oliver Moraes. Yeah, but a fight which everyone thought Aldo won. He landed more significant strikes, blocked 3 takedown attempts. Yeah, but he never got that W. And then he was slated to fight Henry Cejudo, but Cejudo retired. So if you're Aldo, How are you coming into this one, man?
He's probably like super happy right now that he didn't have to face any of the killers in that Bantamweight division. Because, I mean, look at that division right now. You got Marlon Moraes, you got Sugar Shane O'Malley. He's fighting on the card tonight too, right?
Yeah, against Eddie Wiseman. Yeah.
I mean, you could have really picked anybody in the top 5 or top 8 and put them against Aldo, and I mean that would have been another tough fight for him. And so I mean, he's probably just like, I don't know where he's at in his career, how many fights he wants to do before he calls it a career, but he's probably super happy right now that he was able to just leapfrog some dudes and get to that title shot. Which I mean, good for Aldo, because I was kind of pissed off when he lost to Conor and that they didn't give him an immediate title shot, because I think he'd ruled that division for so long. Yeah, Conor dusted him, but I think he should have got a rematch.
That fight was bullshit, bro. Yeah. And I would call that fight bullshit right now, because Aldo has never been emotionally fucked before, ever. Yeah. Conor was like going in there and emotionally fucking him. Yeah, bro. And that's it. That's the way. That I think that's what I played on Aldo's mind coming into it. If there was no emotion or Aldo was stayed a bit more strong, yeah, bro, coming in, I think it would have been a different story. But but yeah, I mean, nah, carry on, man. Carry on, bro. It's a nuts division, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Aldo used to just like, nobody would mess with Aldo. Nobody, like, he had no fear of anybody, and I think Conor was the first guy that was just like, fuck this dude, I don't care who this guy is, I'm gonna talk all the shit I want. Yeah, it's mentally defeating when you never see someone do that to you, I bet.
You know, bro, and let me talk about the bantamweight. Yeah, now would you ever see yourself going up to bantamweight?
Like, if it was, I mean, I've fought at bantamweight a couple times. I fought in LFA. My first LFA fight was at bantamweight, and then the fight before that was at bantamweight. So I mean, I'm not too opposed to the idea. I feel really good at bantamweight. Only having to lose 10 pounds, like, that's nothing. So I have a feeling that eventually one day I'm gonna have to make that trip to bantamweight. But like I said, I'm only walking around 145 right now, so I probably wouldn't want to make that move until maybe I put on like another 5 or 10 pounds. And right now, I just love the height advantage I have at flyweight, and I love how that division's wide open right now. So I think I could really come in and do some big things, have some exciting fights, and we'll see about bantamweight.
Oh, damn! Jerome Rivera, ladies and gentlemen, could be moving to bantamweight. But bro, I mean, if you decide to, yeah, and we're only talking about I would say a month or 2 months before you get your shot in the UFC, yeah. Looking at that bantamweight division, like we just discussed, would you consider moving to bantamweight division in the UFC, or would you sort of stay at flyweight when you get to the UFC?
I would like want to kind of fill out that flyweight division and like have a few fights there, and then maybe move up to bantamweight, like depending how everything's going. But if I were to get called up on like a short notice fight or something, I definitely would take some fights at 135, or if it's like during this whole quarantine thing and everybody's kind of fighting a little heavier than they're used to, like I'll definitely wouldn't mind fighting at 135. But I just think right now I have a lot of exciting matchups at 125, so that's where I want to stay. Making that weight's not really much of an issue, but I mean, if I do go to 135 one day, I think I can have like a really nice advantage on those guys to where I don't cut that much weight and still feel I don't feel like I train for like a lot of 135 pounders, and I don't get like crazy overwhelmed by the strength, so I don't think it would be too bad.
You know, Renegade, and lastly, bro, I want to talk about John Jones. John Jones right now, bro, in my opinion, yeah, and everyone who's watching this live, excuse my language here, yeah, but he's a crybaby bitch, bro. Yeah, Mbappe he's a crybaby punk ass bitch. Yeah, bro. I check this out. Yeah, Renegade. Yeah, he's been champion for 9 years. Yeah, bro. And you're getting paid championship money every time you fight. Yeah, and do you actually think, yeah, with Dominic Reyes up your ass, with Jan Blachowicz up your ass, with Glover Teixeira, with Thiago Santos right up your ass, yeah, bro. Do you think that you are actually gonna go to heavyweight, skip all those guys, and go fight Francis Ngannou, bro? I mean, it's fucking crazy, right? And even for Ngannou, bro, he was slated to fight DC for the interim heavyweight championship. Yeah, bro. So how do you? I mean, what's your take on the situation,
John Jones, that guy is like a huge question mark for me right now,
man?
bro. I love watching the dude fight. John Jones, the martial artist, he's a beautiful martial artist. That dude has some great art. He goes out there and performs every night. Great takedowns, great jiu-jitsu, so creative, great mindset. As far as his out of the cage antics, it's just like a big question mark for me. Like as far as the whole DWI at the beginning of quarantine, it's just like, I've made my mistakes in the past before, and I'm a family man also, and I just couldn't see myself like ever going back to that dark place. And like, I mean, everyone makes mistakes though too, and I just think he has a lot to prove to everybody if he wants to continue to be a martial artist and be a champion. And I think going and calling out Ngannou and fighting with Dana White and all this stuff he's doing right now is just making him look worse. Because I mean, everybody already wants to come down on him and talk a lot of shit about him, so he just needs to kind of lay low and I don't know, just earn some respect back from the fans, I guess.
Cool, man. Because, bro, you're like I said, man, and adding to what I said, yeah, he's without a doubt one of the greatest fighters of all time, any era. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful to watch, for poetic shit. Yeah, we see from John Jones the whole time. Yeah, but then outside the cage, how do you get caught? Yeah, with a firearm, DWI. Yeah, bro, you've been arrested more times than Tupac. Yeah, how do you? I mean, bro, it's not even like uh, you think that shit is just gonna Dana's just gonna forgive you. Yeah, you're gonna come back, get paid Deontay Wilder money for fighting Francis Ngannou, bro. It's not gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, for sure. I think him coming back and calling people out, that was just the wrong way to go about it. Like, I think he should have just came back and not said anything. And I mean, it's cool that he was trying to help out in Albuquerque and board up some of those windows and stop people from looting, but he should have just done that. Like, he shouldn't be calling nobody out for a long time. He needs to just beat whoever they put in front of him again. If he wants to be the champion, he needs to show that he's the champion again and go get back to doing what champions do. Go beat 5 guys in a row in the light heavyweight division and finish all 5 of them, and then go and call out Ngannou and all that other stuff. But yeah, I think right now he just needs to go and prove that he's really a champion again. And yeah, he needs to do it against someone in that light heavyweight division. But also, yeah, that whole Dana White thing, that stuff's crazy.
I mean, bro, he was at light heavyweight. Yeah, I mean, this is what I say. I say, bro, just knuckle up, yeah, and settle it the way it needs to be settled. Yeah, and people obviously think that John Jones and Ngannou would be a prize fight, and I think it would, man. It would make so much money, yeah, that it's unbelievable, man. Yeah, but you have to think realistically, yeah, and you have to think of the fact that Francis Ngannou is literally about to become heavyweight champion of the world if Stipe Miocic doesn't return, and John Jones has Dominic Reyes rematch, yeah, to look forward to. So, so you have to think about like that Renegade. I mean, it's crazy, bro. and then you kind of just like kick yourself in your own ass, bro. Right? It's nuts, man.
Oh, if it was realistic, I would love to see that fight. I mean, can John Jones keep Ngannou back now that Francis realized he can just run at people with his big lunchbox fists and just knock them out?
Well, that Jorginho fight was crazy, but that was nuts, bro.
Yeah, that was crazy. Well, and I mean, I feel like he can do that to anybody now. Like, who's gonna stop him just bull rushing them and throwing those big lunchbox fists at them?
Nobody. He's a freak, man. He can't only do that. He can actually be patient if he wants to. Yeah, I think what his biggest concern is cardio. Yeah, but I think we saw even against Stipe Miocic his cardio, bro. And I think if he goes to fight DC, yeah, for the heavyweight belt, yeah, it's going to be nuts, bro. Because DC can take it all out of you in one shot, and he shot Stipe with a sweet combination to knock him out in the first fight. Along with Stipe, of course, serving the public, bro, as a firefighter. He said he can't see himself coming back anytime soon. So yeah, bro. I mean, if DC and Francis were about to fight, bro, who would you take in that one?
That would be a tough one. I mean, I think DC definitely has Francis's kryptonite with the wrestling. You saw Stipe take him down and controlled him, and I think DC definitely has potential where he can do that same thing, but I don't think Francis is going to let anybody get that close to take him down again. I mean, look at Cain Velasquez when he tried taking him down, getting in close. That's when was Velasquez trying to take him down, or was he just getting in close?
Velasquez he was trying to take a double leg, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I just, that dude even just seems scary to even attempt to take down and close that distance. And I think the reach advantage will be hard for Cormier to strike with him. So I kind of favored Ngannou in that matchup.
I mean, bro, Francis Ngannou, yeah, and people might not know this about him. He's got 3 submission wins to his name, bro. 2 Kimuras and I think a rear naked choke, bro. And it was nuts to see. I thought he would have just run over everyone, man. But yeah, I mean, bro, it's such an interesting picture right now for the UFC. You have title pictures which are incomplete, title pictures where fans are looking at what the hell is going to come next. You have title pictures where who's the next top guy. Yeah. Then you have guys like yourself and Brandon. You have the flyweights. Who's the next top guy there? Then you have and then you have like regional scene. And you have legacy, and bro, it's going to be crazy to see how the UFC comes out tonight, bro. And it's a huge night, huge implications with the bantamweights and Amanda Nunez. Renegade Rivera is a nut. Any last thoughts, bro, about tonight?
Let's see. I'm going to just go and call an upset, and I kind of think Felicia Spencer's going to take out Amanda Nunez.
Wow.
I think that's the jiu-jitsu in me talking, but kind of think it's going to happen. So if it happens, I called it.
Oh, bro, if you call it, man, I might as well put a bet on it right now.
Let's see. Armbar. Yeah,
armbar.
I'm going to call armbar.
Wow, man. Bro, you're wearing a Rev Gear shirt right now, bro. Soon that'll be MMA Reloaded shirt, yeah. And that is coming soon, right to your front door, man.
Yes,
bro, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. We've done it twice now, bro, and this time, of course, it was about you wanted to speak about Brandon and the whole situation leading up to your UFC debut. So. Of course, bro, I would love to have you on the third time, Jerome. is of course episode 10 of MMA Reloaded Bro Talk. There's a special edition with a special guest, man. And thank you so much, Renegade, for joining me once again, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it. Again, huge shout out to Rev Gear, Compex for hooking me up with these incredible recovery tools. My managers at Iridium. Good luck to Jordan Espinosa next week. He's gonna tear it up, and yeah, thanks for having me, bro. Appreciate it.
All right, no worries, bro. Take care, man.
All right, you too, bro. Nice chatting with you.